Okay, in this video, we're taking a little more detailed look at how these tuning levers work. And we get a lot of questions from people that are confused about heads and tips and sizes and angles, and hopefully this will clear this up. On this particular lever, both of these levers actually, we have taken the tips and the heads off so that you can see it's the shaft and it has a threaded end, and that's the same way on both of these, and actually on all of the tuning levers that we offer, aside from, say, the gooseneck that is non-removable. But all of the nicer tuning levers that we offer have that particular feature. Now, when we talk about heads and tips, a tip is about 1 inch long, and this one, as you can see, is a number 2, and that is a star tip for the tuning pins, and that connects to the head, and the head is a whole separate piece, and this is a 5-degree angle head, and it screws in to the tip. And what that gives you is it gives you one piece that is about 1 3/4 inches long. Okay, so then the shaft of the tuning lever screws in to the head here. Okay, and that's how you end up with the combination. Now, the standard head and tips are, if you're reading the website, they're 5 degrees, and that means that when this is screwed in, this is a 5-degree angle that this makes right here, and you get the number 2 tip as well. Now, this is a head, and it is the same type of head, except it is longer, and when it screws into the shaft here, it gives you a 15-degree angle. So what that essentially does is that angle allows this lever, when it's on a tuning pin, to be elevated just a little bit higher up so that you can clear any obstacles within the piano. Okay, both will work just fine. We prefer to offer it this way because we get a lot of people that get the standard or that have purchased somewhere else, and they say this thing just keeps running into the rim, or I'm trying to work with this, I'm trying to learn, and it keeps hitting the rim, and it just doesn't work for them. Now, about these tips and heads, let's say you purchased a tuning lever with this particular head and this tip. As you can see, they all come apart, so you could, in theory, have this tip, or rather this head, and interchange things around. You could also get a little bit bigger head, a number 3, or a smaller one, a number 2, and you could change these things around for whatever that you need to be doing. Most of the time, though, a number 2 tip is going to work just fine. Okay, that's the 2-piece heads and tips. So you can get the standard, which is shorter and a less angle, or the longer head that gives you that extra lift over piano rims and other obstacles. Now, one thing to mention is we have a couple of levers that have a 1-piece head and tip combo. And this is it's very similar, okay, but basically what they've done is they've taken the head and actually just made it part of the number 2 star tip. And that's typical on what we call the student apprentice lever, and it works just fine. It just means that if you were to unthread it and you want a different tip, you either have to buy the 1-piece tip that matches what you want to do, or you have to purchase a head and other tips. So these will go on here just as well. And that's another question that we get a lot of the times is, will all of these things interchange? Yes, they will. So if you started out with this particular lever and had a couple of tips and head combinations, and then you moved up to this particular lever, everything interchanges. So you have a lot of choices here with head and tip combinations and how things work together. And hope this video has helped answer some of those questions that we get quite frequently.